Hello, thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. And this is part 5 of my Unit 5 assessment review guide, study guide here. So I got two more questions to go over. And last we left off was number 16. Next up is question 17 and 18. They're both word problems, and but they're a system of equations. So let's take a look. All right, Raul runs a farm stand that sells grapes and strawberries. Each pound of grapes sells for $1.25. Each pound of strawberries sells for $3.50. Raul made $124.75 from selling a total of 44 pounds of grapes and strawberries. Write and solve a system of equations for the number of pounds of grapes sold and the number of pounds of strawberries sold. So what we want to know is how many grapes and strawberries did he sell? How many pounds anyway? So here's the deal. There's two different types of equations. There's one that deals with the amount of items, and there's one that deals with the amount of money. Okay? And what we're going to do is go set it up and work out elimination. So this is how it goes. So here, first thing I'm going to do is set a variable for each thing. I'm going to set X for the variable for grapes and Y for the variable for strawberries. All right, now I know I'm multiplying the grapes by a certain amount, the strawberries by a certain amount, and that's going to get me the total amount of money. So let's see what that looks like. So it's going to be 125 times every pound of grapes, 350 times every pound of strawberries. It's going to equal 124.75. That's the amount of money, or that's the equation for the money, right? We've got something times the x variable times the y variable, and it equals the total amount of money. Okay? You could take a moment to look at where I got each part from. Alright, now the next equation is deal with the total amount of items. Well, since x represents the grapes and y represents the strawberries, we just got to add them together to equal the total. Well, the total is given right here, the total of 44 pounds of grapes and strawberries. So that equation is x plus y is equal to total, which is 44. And that's where I get that from. All right, now all we got to do is just solve it, okay? So again, this is the money one, and this is the number of items one, okay? It's hard to see that number of items because you just see that number 44, but it's just the x plus y to equal 44. So I want to use elimination, so I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by negative 1.25 so I get the same number opposite signs, and I do it all the way across. So first I rewrote the top equation. So I get 1.25x plus 3.50y is equal to 124.75. And now I'm going to distribute this 1.25 to each term in that second equation. So now I get negative 1.25x minus 1.25y is equal to negative 55. Now I have the same number opposite signs, so when I add, this will eliminate. When I do that, I get 350 minus 125 is 225, and 124.75 minus 55 is 69.75. Now I just got to simply solve for y here by dividing by 2.25. And y is equal to 31. Now that I know what y is, it won't be hard to figure out what x is since the total is 44. So I plug in 31 for y, subtract 31 from 44, and 11 is the number of for x. So 11 pounds of grapes and 44, 31 pounds of strawberries. All right, let's take a look at another one. Oh, one more thing. I wrote out the point here, 11 and 31.
Okay, number 18. Um, Aranis is working on two summer jobs, making 18 per hour tutoring and $10 per hour cleaning tables. Last week, Aranis worked four times as many hours tutoring as she worked clearing tables. So might be a typo there. First is cleaning, now it's clearing tables, and earned a total of $164. It says write and solve a system of equations for the number of pounds of, well, definitely a typo, number of pounds of grapes sold and number of pounds of strawberries. That's a little typo there, but let's go over what we're trying to solve here. So we got two things. We've got the actual total hours that she worked, and we're talking about the actual money that she made. So we're going to make two equations based on those two things. So pay no attention to that part about the grapes and strawberries. And I went ahead and made variables. X for tutoring hours and Y for cleaning hours. Okay. So first I'm going to do the money. So it's $18 for every tutoring hour and $10 for every cleaning hour or clearing tables or however you want to do it. So cleaning hours is $10 for each one for each hour, and it equals $164. All right, now we need one for the total number of actual hours. Now here's the deal. It says four times as many hours tutoring as she worked clearing tables and earning a total of $164. So four times as many hours tutoring as she worked clearing tables. This could be confusing, but this is what you want. Oh, first let me go over this. This is where I got the 18, the 10, and the 164 from. Okay, so the next part is 4x is equal to y. So it's four times as many tutoring hours uh, as as she worked clearing tables. So what you want to do is do four times that. All right? So you might think four times as many hours tutoring, and you do four times x. But no, it's four times as many hours tutoring as she worked clearing tables. So the real thing you want is the x first, equal to the y. So the 1 hour tutoring is equal to four times as many clearing tables. It's real subtle, but you got to pay close attention to that. So instead of having 4x, it's 4y. So four times as many hours. So 1 hour um, is equal to four times as many clearing tables. So I put the four times the clearing tables. Now, this one we're going to do substitution instead of elimination. We've got an x that's equal to 4y, and we're going to plug it in. So I got 18x and plus 10y is equal to 164. So instead of x, I put 4y, so I have one variable. Now I got 72y plus 10y is equal to 164. And I combine like terms, 72 and 10. Add that, you get 82y. Bring down to 164. Divide by 82. And y is equal to 2. Now that I know that the cleaning hours is 2. I'm going to take that 2 and plug it in for y. And since it's 4 times as many hours uh, tutoring, we do 4 times 2 and you get 8. So it's 8 and 2. And that's it. That is a whole unit of system of equations. That's part 5. I want to thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. Have a nice day.